I welcome every sweet pie to my channel. I'm incredibly glad to see you here and really happy that exactly you decided to watch my little cozy video. In your headphones, just me, artist Toy Milk. In the background, you can see the speed paint of my last artwork that I created for the recent Halloween. This year I was attracted by the vampires, so the center of this art is a sweet girl ready to make everyone fall in love with her and drink their delicious blood without a trace. So just enjoy watching. I thought for a long time what to talk about in the first video, and after brainstorming I came to the most pressing topic, which was and will be relevant for each of us: the problem of self-determination and the fight for dream profession. This will be a short story about how a little creative girl struggled with a big system of stamping workers. The story how I became a self-employed artist. It started in 2014 when I was a child and inspired by comics I read. It was the first time I decided to draw with understanding. I wanted to draw something interesting and worthwhile. With burning eyes, I began creative page after page, and after 3 months of hard work, I received my first comics. My skills left much to be desired. Both the plot and the pictures were really terrible. But I fell in love with the process and so happy to see the result. So I couldn't stop. During these 3 months, I experienced euphoria, and then artist has become my dream job. But I was getting older and met some difficulties. I lived in a small town which had only one art school, already overflowing with local talented kids. Well, I didn't have such special talent and I didn't have time for any additional classes because of my studies at school. I made tons of homework, went to all school Olympiads and conferences. There was very little time left for creativity, but I used it to the maximum. I learned to draw with pencils on paper and with my finger on the phone. Over time, I started taking cheap orders. I was even able to save up money for my first tablet, so I could no longer draw with my finger on the small screen of smartphone. My parents expected the most success from me. I simply couldn't let them down. But I also didn't have the strength to strain the artist, rushing to freedom within myself. At first, the family treated my drawing as a hobby. They didn't attach serious importance to my art activity, so they were not against it. Mom even supported so wonderful hobby, right up until the start of high school. During the summer holidays between 9th and 10th grade, I said that I will go to the art university and learn to draw comics and maybe even animations. It was the moment that I met terrible resistance and heard the phrase that had been echoing in my head for many years: "You will live in a box." It may seem just like a funny joke, but this phrase broke me. No, my mother didn't want me to fulfill her dream of becoming a doctor or lawyer. She just wanted me to have a livelihood in the future. Her words were not even a prohibition or a threat, but they broke me, because I understood what she was talking about. In my country, our job was not in demand, and even now an artist is not the most popular and respected profession. People for the most part of life live from paycheck to paycheck, can only afford the bare necessities, and therefore are not willing to pay for the artist's work. Now the situation has changed a little for the better, but getting decent pay for your work as an artist is still very difficult. What happened next? I continued to draw for myself, but within hope of achieving my dream. I was studying at school, preparing for exams. Sometimes I visited the websites of cool art universities, but the tuition fee was too high. I couldn't afford paid education, so I was very upset when I looked at the cost of education at animation faculty. 2 years passed. I graduated from school and went to study at the Faculty of Economics at a good university located in the capital. There were budget places there, and they accepted me for free. Well, But in the second year of study, something happened that no one expected: a terrible pandemic and quarantine. This disaster brought a lot of grief and suffering to the whole world, but at the same time it gave impetus to development of online education. Our entire university has been switched to online learning, and this format gave me the opportunity to create, draw, and develop as an artist. The terrible pandemic receded, the quarantine ended, but I was no longer able to return to university. It was unbearable to study economics when there were so many interesting creative ideas in my head. I left this university and entered another one for the second year of decorative and applied arts. They accepted me thanks to my portfolio and good grades from my previous university. I really enjoyed my new studies, but the workload turned out to be too much. I again met some difficulties and decided to leave from this university too and develop on my own at my own pace. Since then, I have never regretted my choice. I have already become a real artist, but I continue to develop and search for myself. I am no longer afraid to try new things. I create something that I really love, and soon I hope I will become a professional artist. I don't want to study hard and rush anymore, and it's okay. Everyone has their own pace and wishes. The main thing is to start listening to yourself in time, so as not to suddenly discover that life is passing you by. And it doesn't mean that everyone needs to run away from school or university. No. You always need to adequately assess reality. But for years or even decades to deny your dreams is simply impossible. After all, the option of both working and pursuing your favorite hobby suits someone, whereas someone else would prefer to make their hobby into a profession. Both options are wonderful, but only if the option you choose is comfortable for you, if you feel like you are living and not wasting your life. I want to honestly admit that I was able to allow myself to give up full-time job in favor of drawing only thanks to the moral and financial support from my dear husband. Without him, I would still to combine art job with some kind of full-time job. There was no successful success. I didn't become rich or popular, but again, as once in childhood, I became a lively person. If you like this video, be sure to like, follow me here and other social networks, and share your opinion about an art job in the comments. Your like and comment will greatly help me in promotion. And if you want to support me with a coin, follow me on Patreon. There are a lot of interesting things there. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye, dear bye.